Hey everybody, it's Dr. Hammerstedt from Wholist. As promised, today we are going to talk about sugar. This is a free sneak peek of some of the metabolic and science information you get in my coaching program. So let's get into it. So almost everyone agrees that sugar is fattening. There is some discussion amongst experts about whether that's because we went low fat and there was sugar more in that, or whether it's just processed foods. But really, when it comes down to it, when we tried to cut back on carbs and fat, the low carb food was also fat free and had more sugar in it. So that's one of the reasons why we're more obese as a Western culture. So we also started having finished products of food and preservatives and sugar flavored drinks. And one tip is that daily consumption of sugar sweetened drinks not only increase your weight gain, but increases the risk of developing diabetes by 83% compared to those who drink them less than once per month. So that is one way to make a good quick change. So why is it so fattening? Empty calories contain few nutrients. It also makes food more palatable, rewarding, so it's easy to eat a lot more. It doesn't keep you very full very long, and its energy burns sort of hot and quick, and so you are hungrier later. It ends up stimulating some of the reward mechanisms in your brain, so you're going to want more and more of it. And so basically it's a highly refined carbohydrate, stimulates insulin and can cause weight gain just like other highly refined carbs. But sugar is different than carbs, than other kinds of carbs, and we're going to back up here, kind of define what different sugars are, and then talk about what they do to your body. So we're getting super nerdy here, guys. Okay, so sugar can be called a million different things. Glucose is a single monosaccharide sugar with a basic metabolic structure. It has 6-sided rings that's used by nearly every cell in the body for energy. So we have it, we eat it, it's essential, it's for your brain, your red blood cells, your muscle. It's stored in your liver, and your liver can make new glucose when it's needed, when you need more energy, and fats can get broken down for new glucose as needed. So your body knows how to make this when you let it. So fructose, on the other hand, is again a single monosaccharide sugar but it has 5 rings, and it's found naturally in fruit. It's metabolized only in your liver, and it doesn't circulate in the blood, and so the body can't use it for energy directly. It doesn't change blood glucose levels, which is why fruits are often not listed on some of the glycemic indexed tables, but it does stimulate insulin in high levels, and natural fructose is in fruit. So we'll get back and talk about that synthetic high glucose corn syrup stuff, or high fructose corn syrup stuff, in a little bit. Totally different. So sucrose is a table sugar, and it's basically a refined produced sweetener. So one molecule of glucose is hooked to one molecule of fructose, 50-50, and processed from sugar beets and sugar cane. So that's your table sugar. Again, it has one glucose, one fructose. So carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates are super confusing because they are like everything from your veggies to your fruits to your pastas to everything. So carbohydrates are just chains of sugars. They contain chains of like single monosaccharide sugars, like lined up like that, or 2 sugars together, they're disaccharides. Then they're simple carbs. They're easy to break down into the single glucose components. If they have hundreds of thousands of sugars linked together, they're polysaccharides, or complex carbohydrates. And it's a simple way to think about it, but maybe too simple, because some complex carbs have a really high glycemic index, and like white bread and spike your insulin a lot, and others do not. But that's I could do another like 20 minutes on carbohydrates, as my clients know. So let's talk about high fructose corn syrup. So natural fruit, like we talked about, has a little bit of fructose in comparison to this refined process replacement for sucrose. High fructose corn syrup is slightly different. That it has 55% fructose and 45% glucose. So instead of that 50-50 that we see in the table sugar, and it's made super cheap from corn, so it's really easy to incorporate into cheap processed food, presents freezer burn, it's sweeter than glucose, it helps browning, it mixes well, it really extends that shelf life, and it keeps bread soft, and has a low glycemic index because, as we noted, fructose does not spike your blood glucose in your body, and so it's kind of a trick, right? So it's been marketed as an all-natural fruit sugar, but really, in my opinion, it's killing us. It is the very tiny little bit of difference between the percentage of the glucose and the fructose that makes the difference. So glucose is used all over your body for energy, but fructose goes right to the liver and is barely usable anywhere else. And so your body doesn't have a way to deal with it, and so it just sticks it in the liver and makes extra fat. and so causes fatty liver. And when the liver is stuck in there with fat and sugar and wants to get rid of it, it stores it all. So it's calling for more insulin to be released. It causes the liver to become insulin resistant. It increases your glucose consumption. People have gotten pre-diabetic in like weeks or months basically on fructose. So fructose is, sucrose is twice as bad as glucose. Fructose has been hidden for a long time because they were able to market it as a low glycemic index thing. So what I'm telling you is that it matters the type of carbs that you're taking in and the amount of added sugars that you're taking in. If you want successful weight loss and maintenance, you have to remove all added sugars from your diet. Don't replace them with artificial sweeteners. Unfortunately, this applies to cane sugar and stevia and all those other things, and agave nectar, which is almost all fructose. Artificial sweeteners don't add anything to you. So just choose no added sugars. So the crazy thing is, though, is that it's everywhere. Like I went to buy lox the other day and there's sugar in it. It's in your sauces, it's in your drinks, it's in your condiments, it's in your food. So what I get at here is that we need to be eating whole food. If it looks like a food, eat it. If it's in a box, don't eat it. Try to make your own stuff when you can. Try to add to your diet minimal extra sugars. So if you're interested in joining Wholist for our March weight wellness coaching program, please do reach out to me, PM me, anything you want. This is a 3-month program. We do daily podcast information, mostly audio. We have weekly video calls for coaching that are on my telehealth platform, which, by the way, I'm down here in a hotel in California to meet with my developers, so it's super exciting. And be in touch. Have a great day. No sugars, everybody.